Felix here, and welcome to this pre-market live stream. Listen to this. After a big sell-off like yesterday, a lot of people are obviously running for the hills. But the smart money is making money. And in the next few minutes, I want to explain to you what 75% of people don't understand. I want to show you the real opportunities, and I want to give you the 4 pieces of news that you need to know today to make good financial decisions. So stick around, smash the you know what, and if you're here to make money, then write money in the chat, okay? So good morning, everybody. Smash the like, says Alex. Appreciate that. But yeah, let's see who wants to make some money here this morning. Anybody wants to make money? No, nobody at all. All right, then I'll share my screen with you and we get straight into it. Oppenheimer issues the highest forecast for 2025 on Wall Street. So just as the snowflakes are selling off, Wall Street is saying the market's going to go to all-time highs. Here are Gillis, Janet, Scott, Renee, Jerry, Alan, May, Edwin, Thomas. Okay, lots of people wanting to make money. Love that. Dollar symbols will also do the trick if that's easier for you to type in there. So keep it coming, keep it coming. And there is a little bit more to that, because this is a little chart out from Deutsche Bank, which is one of the world's worst investment banks, but the data is solid. And what does it show you? It shows you the trend of the S&P 500 since 2007. So pre-global financial crisis. And do you see that we just keep moving up in kind of the same channel with the occasional dip, which is just the biggest freaking opportunity ever to make lots more of the money that you are putting in there. The money emojis will also do the trick, like that, Terry and Jerome. And right now, what's Wall Street predicting? Well, they're predicting that we're going to be right bang in the middle of this channel again. Not a particularly unusual year coming up, but one that's going to make us a lot of money. Now, I promised to explain this to you. Here is what most people don't understand. We've had 2 years in a row of a stock market doing what? Going up, right? Basically a rally, 2 years in a row, right? 20% plus per year. In history, when you get that, when you get 2 strong years like that, 75% of the time, what do you think happens in the next year? You get another big rally. And people have this limited belief in thinking, oh, my stock is up, I don't know, 50%, 50%, 100%, 600%, whatever. Can't go up anymore. I must sell, right? So people do that. And it makes no sense, because historically, things keep going higher and higher and higher. So what am I saying to you? I'm saying to you, I don't understand why people are selling stocks. Why are people selling stocks yesterday? They're taking profits. Palantir hit at $80. Everybody sells. Does that make any sense? Well, if it goes back down to 5, then, everyone will have been like, oh, they were geniuses. But the likelihood is just in the long term that stocks keep going up, right? So I'm not saying you should never take profits, by the way. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying stop losses is probably the better way of doing it. But expect 2025 to be a great year, statistically. Weird things can happen, the world can go up in smoke or whatever, but then it doesn't really matter anyway. But from a momentum point of view, from a fundamental point of view, from a profits growth point of view, from a probability point of view, we should be looking at a rally in 2025. And then I'm not even talking about what Trump and Elon and all the billionaires are going to do in the US with deregulation and tax cuts and so on, which will also help the market tremendously. But just have a look at what actually sold off yesterday, because it's crucial to understand what actually went on there yesterday, right? Now, the top 26 winners of 2024, there's 26 stocks that went up the most. And that's, some familiar names in here: MicroStrategy, Palantir, Nvidia, Vistra, some of the ones who've really, really gone nutty this year, who are, crazy amounts, 500%, 300%. They all sold off yesterday by about 5% or more. And wait for this. The worst stocks of the year, the losers, the big losers that are down significantly this year, guess what? They almost universally rallied yesterday. And what does that say to you? Well, it says to you that there is something in stock picking, isn't there? Because you could be buying stocks that are down like 78% this year, or you could be owning stocks that are up, a couple of 100% this year. So yeah, you can buy the index, and that's a safe place to start. And if you're not investing yet, if you're new to it, definitely go buy the index. It'll be a great education. But you can see that there might be some merit in buying good stocks, don't you think? What do you think he's drinking? Turmeric, lemon, hot water. Actually, you know what I'm drinking today is something really quite funky. I'm drinking some sort of bark thing, some sort of wood bark thing. I don't know what it's called, which is it gives you more energy, more chi apparently. And then I've added a dash of, you're sidetracking me here, a dash of electrolytes, which is not a brand that I'm sponsored by, but it's good stuff. It tastes like salt water, seawater. Delicious. I don't like flavors or sugars or any of that. So where does this take us? Well, think about it. If you want to learn how to pick those great stocks, how do you pick them? What's the basis on which you pick them? Well, the basis on which the most successful Wall Street investors have picked them is the basis on which I pick them, which is we look at stock charts and we find the winners, and we look at some in a moment. And people often say to me, yeah, but I'd rather just give my money to a fund. And if that's how you feel and you've got a great fund manager, brilliant, love you for it, it's all good. But think about it. If I spot a breakout and I want to set up a trade that's, I don't know, $10,000 or, maybe even $100,000 or $1 million, I can do that, right? Because I don't move the market. But the problem is, if I become a fund, actually, a lot of you guys have suggested I should start a fund, an ETF or something. The problem is, once we get to bigger numbers, say we then have, $1 billion, lots of zeros. So what if I set up a little trade that's now, $50 million? Well, I'm going to start moving the market, aren't I? So how do I exit that position? When I do, I tank the stock. And that is why the large funds do not ever significantly outperform the market. They can't. And the most successful hedge funds out there, they don't want your money. They're like, no, we've got enough of this stuff. Our problem is we've got too much money, and therefore every single trade we do moves the market. Small investors have a massive, massive advantage. And by small, I mean sort of, below $100 million. So you can grow quite a lot from where you probably are. And you can make a lot of money because you can buy a small stock that could explode, right? You can't do that anymore when you're huge because you can now only buy Apple, big stocks that are not going to move that much. So am I too much of a genius to drink regular coffee? I'm not a genius in any way, shape or form, Eric, but I rarely drink coffee, I must say. I enjoy the taste of it, but I don't sort of enjoy the buzz of it. If you don't drink much of it, then you get a real buzz from it. So I'm kind of like, I get a buzz. But I want to also explain this to you because understand this. There are 4 things that happened yesterday or overnight or early this morning that are really changing the way that we should look at markets. Michael said, if you have an ETF, I'm sure a lot of people would be keen. I know, but what I'm saying is that the ETF would perform worse and worse the bigger it got. And that's just the problem with the markets. It's just if you get too big, you stop losing the ability to pick the best trades because you just can't. And we're in some small random stuff sometimes, and you can't be in small random stuff because you shift the market. So it's an important realization. Okay, what happened here? Well, here is a bit of Tesla news. Where Deutsche Bank raising its price target to $370 because they're saying we're now including FSD sales, robotaxi operations, and OEM licensing fees into the robotaxi bucket, whereas previously we didn't. And our belief is that the new US administration can streamline regulations around deployment of robo-taxis. So we're increasing our forecast, $370, which is not exactly on target, but it's better than a being hit in the face with a cold dead fish, isn't it? Second piece of big news. Taiwan Semiconductor, TSM is the ticker. They just reported earnings and they are wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. You want to run over there and give them a big fat kiss. That's how wonderful. And guess what's driving there? I think it's 30% plus revenue growth. Guess what it is? Starts with I and it ends with A and I. I said it the wrong way around, didn't I? See, there's so much for the genius. Can't spell a two-letter word. Yeah, AI. AI demand. And why is that important? Because the biggest customer of TSMC is, you can see it's here, it's Apple. Second biggest customer, it's Nvidia, and then it's a bunch of others. AMD, the sort of the loser category. These guys, but still, it gives an insight that the big tech boys are growing, and that's very, very important. Scott says the only advantage that real investor has, being small and nimble is a big advantage of ours. There is another advantage in that we can actually spot trends that the nincompoops on Wall Street don't see through their spreadsheets. So we can actually see products that have an incredible impact, either because we use them or because we see the potential. Wall Street doesn't really look at that. They just say, show me the spreadsheet. And a lot of the time, well, all the time, the good innovation doesn't show up on a spreadsheet, right? Because the profits come later. So initially, it's just a great concept. So actually, I think we have quite a lot of advantages as retail investors, and we can buy a little random stuff. But this is one, honestly. Google is up like what, 5% pre-market, something like that. Where is it? Yeah, 4.5% here pre-market, and it's because of this. Their quantum computer called Willow. I don't know why it's called Willow. That's the silliest name they could have come up with. Elk can't spell a four-letter name. Interesting. Well, I struggle with two letters, so we could be friends. You could be the smart one. This quantum computer does in 5 minutes what it would take today's fastest supercomputer 10 septillion years. I don't know what 10 septillion is. I think it's 10 to the power of 25, which is a lot of zeros. It's just a lot of zeros. So it would take forever, like forever. You'd be dead. Everybody in your, the planet is probably not around anymore. Can do that in 5 minutes. And that is a tech breakthrough like we haven't really seen before in a very, very long time. And I know everyone's writing Google off because, they're sort of slightly behind OpenAI and all of that. But this is the kind of stuff that Google does very well. Amazing engineering. So keep an eye on Google and what they're putting out there. And by the way, what's the problem with this as well? This can hack all your passwords. This can hack Bitcoin wallets. It can hack all encryption, literally anything. So what does that mean? Well, it's of course amazing for cybersecurity, isn't it? Cybersecurity stocks are going to be like, you're going to have to spend so much freaking money on cybersecurity because AI combined with quantum computers, bloody hell, right? They're going to be cracking your password every fraction of a second and you're going to have to keep changing it somehow. So Minneapolis, Willow quantum computer demos look like a willow tree. Okay, interesting. Drooping lines. Okay, I haven't watched that, but I appreciate you sharing that. Now, this is another one here that also is, I think, our fourth news item here. And I want to play that for you because this is really something. Now, this is an Optimus robot going for its morning stroll. It looks a bit like a drunk, doesn't it, really, trying to find his way home. Where is it? Where did I park the car? Shouldn't drive in that state. The interesting thing is, this Optimus has no vision. No sight whatsoever. He doesn't see SHIT, I was going to say. So this thing doesn't see shit. And have a look what it does when it's about to fall over. Look at that. It's exactly what you and I would do, isn't it? It's exactly how a human behaves, and it can fix it. And that's extraordinary. So I think the guys at Tesla are making leaps with their robots that we are not expecting. And imagine once he has actual sight, senses, right? He's not going to be stumbling around like a drunk anymore. So crazy stuff coming up there from Tesla. I think people are really, really, really underestimating that. Paul says that's me pissed. Yes. So looks like Biden. That's a good one, Katie. I appreciate that. Although he looks a lot fitter since he's no longer going to be in office, right? I think he just wanted out, to be honest with you. So I wanted to show you a couple of breakout trends, but one little update from us. Robinhood. We've just included import of Robinhood trades into TradeVision. So if you want to track your gains in TradeVision and your losses, equally important, actually more important to track the losses, then you'll be able to see this kind of thing. We track open trades, stock trades, we track options trades, the whole thing. And I mean, after a horrible day like yesterday, right? What are we doing? Well, we're still making kind of a lot of money, aren't we? So it just takes a bit of time. You can see the entry points here rather nicely in TradeVision. So very, very, very useful. I'm really loving this feature. And we are also working on automated imports, but give us a little bit of time on that. That's going to happen too soon. So yeah, very excited by that. But if we look at what were the breakouts yesterday? Workday up 5%. Lululemon spandex keeps rallying. That's a nice breakout here, actually, isn't it? Very nice breakout. Why? They sort of solved the overstock issue. Inventories, looking better, and they're putting out new product, which is good. Actually, a friend of mine just got me a pair of Lululemon shorts. Don't worry, they're not the spandex ones, and they look rather good, I must say. Well, yeah, well, at least I thought so. China stock has had a big rally there on stimulus. I'd generally be very cautious on this. This is a real seesaw for people. What else is up? Anything else up? Well, what about the big boys? Nvidia took a little bit of a beat yesterday, but nothing significant. I mean, I think, we intentionally call the exits quite early here because we kind of want to be really cautious with people. I would not be exiting here, and I tell you why. Because connect the laws, as my fellow countrymen say, and we're above that trend line there. So I would give it a little bit more breathing room there, and then of course we can go on to a more advanced chart, see what's going on there live. Joao is asking, what's best, Felix, trade stocks or options? Honestly, I'd start with stocks. Make stocks a success. And if you love it and you have then more time because you've now quit your job because you're making so much money and you want to go into options, brilliant. But I think the place to start is stocks, because what you learn there, you don't have to do options. You can make just a bucket loads of money with stocks. My presently largest winner that I've still got open is here is FOA, for example. We're up, I don't know, 100% or something stupid. So we bought at, what did we buy? 925. I think we bought here. Yeah, hang on. What did we buy here? I bought at about 925, somewhere here, right? It's trading at $24 right now. Right, so we're up some crazy amount. So you can do really crazy gains with stocks. You don't have to go into options world. And then, as I say, options has a little bit of a higher learning curve. It'll take you quite a few months to really master it. Whereas with stocks, you can do that in a couple of weeks, which is kind of easier. So if you want to start somewhere, watch the masterclass down below, because that will actually teach you how to pick winners. Genuinely, for 30 minutes, you get the whole thing, you get the whole lesson, you get the whole insight on how I pick these winners again and again and again and again, and how we do that with a very high probability, and it's free of charge. Why? Because I love improving your life. It's honestly that. It's so nice. We get so many nice messages. I got another one I just forwarded to the coaching team. Someone saying the life's just 1,000 times better. And I don't want to shove these things in your face every day because it's boring for you, but it gives me a great deal of pleasure. So Wise, what about leaps? Yeah, I think leaps are sort of the software into the options world, and they can definitely be very, very powerful. It's a little bit like stocks, but you need to still understand a little bit more to it. But yeah, I think they're a great tool if used correctly. If used incorrectly, they're not. So gap down yesterday. This morning we're trading pretty flat here on Nvidia, which I think is a decent place to be. We just want to make sure that there isn't a mighty crash, which there just isn't. More tea there. You're in the UK doing options. And you can, of course, do that, my friend. And yeah, there are plenty of brokers, interactive brokers, Tasty and so on, who offer that in the UK or in Europe. Tesla is looking pretty good at 392 here yesterday, so perking up a little bit from where it was yesterday. The resistance is still at 400. We hit that yesterday, and then we came down. Let's have a look at that day yesterday, because we're looking at Tesla right now. I'll gladly look at the other ones. We look at SoFi next, shall we? If you look at the day. So the day opened here. Can you see that? That was the beginning of the day. Let me put a line in here. That was basically the beginning of the day. And then what did we do? Well, we hit the 400. And on big volume, we sold off. Why do we sell off? Because initially the market makers will sell at the $400 resistance. And if you have trade vision, then you know that. If you don't, well, check it out. There's a link down below. There's a week's trial to it. And we have extended the crazy Black Friday offer for you as well, because so many of you asked for it. And I want to make sure everybody gets access to it who wants to. And then, yeah, that sort of kicked the stuffing out of the rally, really. And then we recovered a little bit here towards 393 overnight here. So we're looking in a lot better shape there. And I think people are underestimating this. I mean, tremendously. That's just my humble opinion. I think we're going to be seeing $500 before you know it. But you have to, of course, come to your own conclusion. You need your own risk management. But yeah, at the moment, I'm loving Tesla and how much money it's making for us. Okay, so let's look at SoFi. We look at Palantir after that one as well. And now with 2,600 people watching, which I love, 489 likes. That's less than a 20% popularity rating, isn't it? Well, you be the judge of that. Okay, SoFi is slightly below its support at 1550. And that's not some random line I've drawn in here. That's actually where the market makers buy. For the last 2 days, that held. Today is the third test. What's going on there? I think it's a little bit of a concern that we might not get a rate cut next week. We get inflation data out tomorrow. We're hoping for that to be somewhat modest. So we're going to get that rate cut that we're looking for. But either way, I'm loving SoFi. But yeah, it's becoming a little bit of a zag here. It's still a bullish setup, but below 1550, closing below that, yeah, you're starting to look a little bit more, looking a little bit more at the risk management side. Fox Gaming says, let's get the stream to 500 likes. We're already at 648, my friend. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. How's Winston doing? Oh, he's absolutely lovely. I just played with him in the park. It's a park like literally across the road, and he just bolts around. He also chewed a little dog, like a little fluffy sort of thing with a bow in his hair, one of those. And he just what does he do with it? Grabs him by the neck and drags him around on the floor. And the little thing seems to absolutely love it and says, more, more, more. It's quite funny, really. He likes puppies. That one's a puppy. Our kittens are also settling in well, which is fantastic. So we've got 2 little new kittens. I'll be showing you some more pictures over the next few days. They are very, very happy. They are being very naughty, jumping over all sorts of things, but they're happy, which is the main thing. And Palantir here, yeah, bit of a dump yesterday, right? But would you have sold? Honestly, no, probably not, because we're still above the trend line, which is pretty good. If you break below the trend line, you might want to take some partial profits. That would sort of generally be my rule. And then, you're gonna have a hard stop somewhere. Maybe at the support line or somewhere like that. But for a stock this volatile, you want to give it a little bit of room to breathe. Your trade vision doesn't look as sexy as mine. Maybe you didn't turn the... Are you on the news here? Maybe that's it. But I mean, you don't have to trade options, but there is the news. Let's get 1,000 likes. Fox, I'm liking you. You're hired as a room moderator. I appreciate that. How do you get the pad for drawing the trend lines and so on? So at the moment, there are lines up here that you can draw. So you can, do your heart's content here at the top. We are also going to be improving that with more colors and so on. So what I use sometimes here for you guys is just a Chrome plugin, which is just, me squiggling about. But the ones you do in the actual app, like that blue line here, they get saved, which is very useful. And you can also write on it. You can write some notes on it and so on, which is useful. Brian, you're having some struggles with the Robinhood thing. Brian, I'd love that if you flag that with us or send us the file on support, because we'd love to see that data so we can make sure it works for everybody else. Okay, then Gook, which is the big breakout story today, because they seem to have cracked quantum computing. Which is, look at the gap up here to 184 here pre-market. That is taking us back, not all the way. 192 was the previous high, but yeah, it's looking pretty promising, isn't it? So if you were to connect the previous highs here, that was sort of the upwards down trend line, and then we had one coming up from sort of down here. That was sort of the thing. So we're breaking out of that very, very nicely. If it holds on to that and we see a ton of volume today, then Google might well go and find some all-time highs. Felix threw a handset at 1,000 likes. I should do that, although I'd probably knock over all the furniture. Can you get trade vision if you're in Chile, Nicolas? I'm not 100% sure, my friend. Some countries have very stupid sales tax laws. So, for example, say you're in Mexico, right? And we don't have any subscribers in Mexico. But if you were the first subscriber in Mexico, we would get a $6,000 annual bill for filing the VAT on your one subscription, which would be a couple of dollars worth. So it doesn't really make sense for everybody else to subsidize your one subscription. So we have to basically at this point exclude you on the basis of billing address. That's how it does it. That's how Stripe does it. So yeah, at the moment we have to just focus on that. It doesn't make sense to like throw money out of the window, and I'm not a socialist yet, so I don't believe in all the other thousands of users having to pay for your VAT. But hopefully governments will find a better way of dealing with that. At the moment, there are some countries which are really nutty. Mexico, for example, being one of them. Trade Vision Mobile, yeah, it's in the works. It's in the works, my friend. It's coming. We actually have on X. I just launched it a community. Hang on, I'll show you. Yeah, if you go on my Twitter, actually we're live on X too. We just started the community. We're going to start inviting you into that. And I've started to post some of the things we're actually working on, because I think it'd be good for you guys to also understand what we're working on. So mobile is coming. We're working on that pretty hard. More option stuff, more TA stuff, lots of exciting things, more broker integrations. So yeah, a lot of stuff I'm super, super excited about that's coming up there in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, check that out. You can also follow Trade Vision on Twitter. We share a lot of stuff, actually. We share a lot of stuff on that. So to check that out. Now, pre-market, it's looking pretty good, isn't it? Tesla is green. Google is 4% up. Nvidia, Apple recovering somewhat. Meta up 0.7%. Palantir is down, okay, 0.4%. It's not neither here nor there, really. Fox Gaming, I'm liking this guy. 889 likes. We need 100 more to get to Christmas. Ding, ding, ding. Let's see what the market's saying today. Do I use Fibonacci? No, I used to. I just really simplified my whole setup. I just don't think you need a ton of this stuff. Like, support resistance here is where the actual market's positioned. So where the market makers are positioned, that's super useful. That's not really an indicator. That's actually like knowledge, right? That's really, really useful. And then moving averages, you definitely want some of those, 50, 150, that kind of thing, 200. I use RSI, and that's pretty much it. And then we also have an inbuilt trend indicator here, which combines a bunch of that sort of stuff, which gives us buy signals, which works pretty well. So yeah, that's basically what I look at. So keep it simple. That's what I would always say. Keep it really, really, really freaking simple. And look how simple we made it here. Green, good, red, bad. Or, you know, think about risk management. So say for Amazon here over the last 2 years, we've added 20% on the returns there by trading it, which makes a lot of sense. So do you look at day charts? Yes, I only look at day charts. I don't look at shorter time periods, because if you do, you're just going to become a busy idiot. And I don't want a job. I just want my money to make money. And it's doing that quite nicely. Like if you look at our teaching portfolio here, only got 3 trades open, but they're up 47%, 255%, 149%. And, you know, that's really what it's about. It's doing as little as possible with a big outcome. That's really my goal in life. Do you have a Blue Sky account, Kit? That's interesting you mentioned that. Someone said to me the other day we should do that, and I don't. Do you think it's worthwhile? Is there a sort of financial community on Blue Sky that would make it worthwhile for us to share stuff over there? If there is, please let me know. Can you import investments from E-Trade? No, it's coming up. Not yet, but we're getting there. So we are up here. We got Robinhood now, Fidelity, Interactive Brokers, Schwab, Think or Swim, and then we're working through them in sort of order of popularity. Sasha, alerts. So you do get alerts for buy and sell signals generally, the sort of the top ones. We will make available a specific, so you can select which stocks you get alerts for in TradeVision for sure. Euro charts, at the moment we're covering US listed stocks. I don't think there is a good reason to be invested outside the US pretty much. So that's kind of the focus. We might add more European tickers later on, but at the moment only if they have a US listing. At some Aussie brokers, well, Interactive Brokers works in the US, in Australia. That's the one we already have on there. But yeah, we'll add some more like Tasty and stuff like that. Close chat, hit like, reopen chat. Thanks very much. Can you take a look at Hood? Yes, absolutely. So Robinhood has had a tremendous year. Let's have a look here. Let's make this a little simpler. So we are trading at $40, ever so slightly above the resistance. So what does that mean when you have these sort of 3 days not really going anywhere? A little bit of exhaustion. A sell-off yesterday didn't have a lot of volume, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. But yeah, you're just getting a little bit tired of the rally, really. And this looks a bit like a Palantir chart or something, doesn't it? So where you have this kind of a rally up and we're going a little bit sideways, nothing dramatic, but just a little bit of it's normal. No stock goes up in a straight line, not forever. Fox, oh my God, you actually are going to get us to 1,000 likes, aren't you, Fox? I'm going to have to get you here every morning. At Morgan Stanley, okay, appreciate that. I think that's on the list. Now, someone was saying Tesla was flying off the radar. And yeah, it's looking very good. 397. It's working its way again towards $400, which is very, very good to see. And, you know, we might hit that line a few times. It's quite normal to hit these trend lines again and again and again. But 400 is what we need to crack here. Now, let me give you a quick recap for anybody who's just tuned in and to understand what the heck we're talking about here. So I was basically starting this off today with, I think there are a couple of things that are super important to understand today. Like, where's Wall Street looking for the stock market to go next year? What's the one thing that 75% of people out there don't understand? It's going to make a tremendous difference. And then the 4 big pieces of news today that are really moving markets. So Fox Gaming, I like it. I'm liking you a lot, my friend. Drop me an email. Seriously, we should do something. We should have you on here in a professional capacity. I do mean that, my friend. I'm going to drop my email in the chat here for you. I like your enthusiasm. So there it is. So Wall Street is now forecasting 7,000 or 7,100 points on the S&P for next year. And that sounds like a lot, but it's actually just the long-term trend of the market. Nothing unusual here. It's just the way we've been rolling. And yes, we have some dips. We have a bit of COVID, some trade wars, double dips in 2008 and that sort of thing. But actually, there is a straight line that goes up on the higher end. There's a straight line that goes up on the bottom end. And we're trading sort of in between that. So 7,000 plus for the end of next year is very much on the cards, in my humble opinion. Now, you might be thinking, but Felix, after a year this good, you can't be rallying that much again, right? Well, what happens after 2 glorious years like we just had? People get complacent. Everyone's a genius. Yes, that's true. In a bull market, everyone's a genius. But what most people don't understand is this: 75% of the time that we have had 2 years of these beautiful rallies in a row, what happens? You get a third year that rallies. So bull markets are much, much longer than most people think. Most people think in years. The market doesn't. And if you factor in a lot of the things that we've been talking about all week, whether that's AI or whether that's lower taxes or lower regulation, or the news on Google we're about to touch on, robots, there's so many things that are making companies more profitable, massive buybacks, interest rates coming down. All of these are bullish factors that make it much, 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 much easier to keep the momentum going here. My friend, you got Jano there. You got some issues with Trade Vision. Would you drop us a support message, my friend? And I'm gonna make sure we get on top of that, because if it isn't working for you, it might not be working for somebody else, and therefore we want to fix that. So please let us know, and then we can actually look at your account and why it's happening and what your technical setup is there and so on. And then yesterday we have this scary sell-off, right? And I was like, oh my God, panic. Palantir down 5%. It's up 344% this year, and you're getting your knickers in a twist because it's down 5%. Right? So a bit of perspective. MicroStrategy down 7%, but it's still up 525% on the year. So these are tiny, tiny fractional moves. But they do also show to you that picking winning stocks can give you insane returns, whereas the market's done what? 30%. Still extraordinarily good. It's going to make you wealthy. But if you want to get like rich, 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 wouldn't it be better to be in these stocks that are blowing out like mad? Well, what if you pick really terrible ones? Well, the terrible ones may lose you a lot of money. Like Wolfspeed, minus 78%, Intel down 57%, right? A lot of these XP down 48%, Sirius XM minus 46%. And all that says to me is that learning to pick winners before they become big winners is really what it's all about. And how do you learn that? Well, get a job on Wall Street. And that isn't really helpful, is it? Well, there is another way. If you take the next 30 minutes of your life and you watch the masterclass at felixfriends.org/get-free, and you actually take notes and you actually absorb the information and the rules that I give you, and then you start to apply it and you add some risk management on top, I promise you, it will change your life. Very simple. So you can leave right now. That's okay. I don't even need the like. I'd be very, very happy if you went away and watched the masterclass at felixfriends.org/get-free. The link is also down below in the description if you can't type. So, what's the important news? Wall Street is starting to realize that FSD for Tesla and robotaxis for Tesla is going to be tremendous, and that the Trump-Elon administration is going to get them on the road much, much quicker. So we're seeing upgrades and price targets here, which is glorious, and that's going to help drive up the AI market as well. TSMC, who are the guys who make for Apple and Nvidia and AMD and everybody else out there, just reported stellar earnings, which means what? The AI rally is still happening. Demand is still strong, so that's very, very bullish. And then we have this here, and this is extraordinary. Google has a quantum computer, and it is able to do in 5 minutes what the fastest supercomputer on the planet would do in 10 septillion years. A septillion, I believe, has 26 zeros. So it's a lot of years. It's probably older than the Earth. I could be wrong on that, but it's very, 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 very long period of time. Much longer than you're willing to wait. So what is it going to do? Well, it's going to hack all your passwords and it's going to steal all your crypto. That'll be the first thing that Google will do. But in all seriousness, it means if one person, one company has it, everybody else is going to build it. And it means the chip demand and memory demand and everything in the whole computing space is going to get replaced. And cybersecurity is going to go through the roof. And computers and AI and robots will be able to do things we can't even think of yet, which is tremendous. 10 to the power of 25. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that 26 zeros, Alex? You sound like someone who understands that kind of stuff. They already have my passphrases. That is true, of course. Yes, Google doesn't have to hack your passwords. They already have them. And then there is this here, which I think is also just so misunderstood. Everyone's like, oh, robots will take forever. Look at this drunk, staggering robot. He just went and emptied Elon's whiskey cabinet and he's trying to get away. But the extraordinary thing is that Elon tweeted this and then wrote that he has no sight. This is a guy, he's drank so much illegal whiskey that he's blind. No, seriously, there's no vision in these robots at this point. No eyes, no cameras. And look at that. That is incredible that he can catch himself do that. And then he does it again. And now he knows he isn't going to do that again. So these guys, they're getting it right. These robots will be extraordinary and way, way, way faster than people think. It's like, when they started making EVs and everyone's like, no, it's not going to work. And the range, and no one will want them. And then, they were everywhere. These robots are going to be everywhere. So I'm hugely bullish on Tesla. And I think that's kind of the main stuff here. Go and check out the masterclass, please. Please do take notes, take screenshots, whatever you need to do to make sure you absorb the information and actually get some tremendous value out of that. We've also extended the Trade Vision offer that we had running for Black Friday, because a lot of you guys were like saying, oh, I missed it. And I don't want you to miss it. So you still get 60% off on that, and ton more amazing stuff coming up there on Trade Vision. So check it out. And I appreciate you tuning in. 1,100 likes. Fox, my friend, you're hired. And I wish you